What's going on, everyone? Your fellow agent, Agent Put here, and today I wanted to show you guys the ultimate build for Razorback. And a lot of people have been asking me, how do you survive? How do because those NPCs are brutal, especially on the last boss. And there's a lot of people that struggle with Razorback, and this build is not about doing a speed run. It's completely about survivability, and Razorback is all about survivability. Right. So first of all, we're going to talk about my specialist. Now, generally, I personally go on the generator, but you could use this build solely as DPS as well. It does more than enough DPS to be able to not only go on the generator, but kill NPCs as well. All right. So obviously, um, survivalist is really good just for the protection from elites. All right. There's I'm about to show you. There are a couple of ways you can you can get a lot of survivability, especially with the drones. And the drones by far kill everyone. But what we do is when we do the raid is when we dedicate someone to drone duty. Or you could, I mean, we personally don't have anybody on jammer posts just simply because they don't have a hive. So it makes it more difficult, for the other team and potentially on another generator. Um, you know, to help them. It just makes it difficult. So, onto the build. So let me get one that's actually in my stash at the moment. Right, so onto the build. Right, so obviously you don't have to use it. Obviously, I've got an eagle bearer on this, but you don't have to use an eagle bearer. You can use the P416. I mean, the damage on this is low because I'm not really spec into the eagle bearer on this like at all. So you could definitely use a P416. Maybe you could go optimist. I personally, before I got the eagle bearer, went for that. So, but to be honest with you, I'm not using it for the assault rifle. I'm using it for the LMG. Why LMG, you should say. Well, when Boomer comes out, the issue you have with any assault rifle when Boomer comes is you've got a moment where you reload, right? Now, me personally, um, I've had situations where I've used the assault rifle before, and you know, you reload, and by the time you reloaded, it's shut off its generator. Shut off the turret. So I go with an LMG, but not just any LMG. You want the military M60. Why the military? Well, the reason why, or the black market, I should say, is it's because it's got the stability one at the end. Alright? And, you need as much stability as possible, especially with unhinged. Especially on console, you need that weapon handling. You need that stability. No, you don't. It doesn't make a big difference. The fact there's less optimal range doesn't make a difference at all. Okay. So you want to be aiming for at least 32k, I would say, for an LMG. And the other reason is, the other thing is you want rate of fire. Now, I've tried doing Boomer, we call him, when it comes out and does the turret, with magazine capacity. But for me personally, it doesn't work. Alright? I found with more consistency, if you have an unhinged rate of fire, Allegro LMG, you're gonna take down Boomer a lot more consistently. Now, if you don't have the 35 large pouch unlocked, you can also put on the 5% rate of fire mod. That works just as well. I would say, but the bigger mag is obviously better for when you're taking down, if you're taking down the panels, depending on whether you're taking down the panels of whether you're on draw duty. Okay, so using this master, on this mask, we don't really have the greatest roll. I mean, actually, on my was it the Douglas one, the Badger Tough one? Which one is it? This one right here. I know, because it's still in my stash, because I haven't brought it through yet. Yes, yeah, it's still in my stash. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So on my Circle of Concern one, I actually have higher, but the reason why I prefer this one is just simply because it's got more health. You know, regardless of how much armor I've got, which is almost 400k now. If they end up bashing through my armor, I prefer slightly more health than what I would do as a protection. So me personally, I prefer to go for the health here. Um, and I've gone for a Gilligard mask. Just because it's the only mask, it allows you to have a utility mod slot. And there's going to be ways I can improve on this build as well and have an even stronger heal. Which is basically, uh, you know, what you are going to be aiming for more than anything. So, on to the backpack. So you're going to be going to go for the Pygo style backpack, or any of the 511 backpacks. Now, the 511 backpacks, and I'll just show you right here. So I've got another one in my stash, which is very, very similar, but this one is a defensive mod slot. The reason why I use it a utility one, just so that I can literally just get the 11 defensive, so is because I can have a higher chem launcher mod. So I've got almost 500 skill power on the single mod. So and that's basically how you get in a stronger heal. Come TU5, the chem launcher heal is going to be even stronger. So yes, definitely very good. So I'm using a Yao Gear chest piece now. In actual fact, ideally, I really wouldn't want a Yao chest piece. I probably would want a Gilligard chest piece. But I mean, if you had something similar to this, and then but you had the I think it's a harness armor Gilligard one that comes with utility slot, that would allow you to have an even bigger heal. But then again, you know, you could go with this one and then have an offensive mod slot. But it would have to come with Unbreakable, whereas this doesn't. It comes with Bloodsucker. So, chest piece. I've put a 30% total armor roll onto this with 5% weapon damage. You definitely want it to come with weapon damage in order to have a higher total armor roll in your chest piece. You need some weapon damage. Okay. I use when on my DPS build, you know, for Boomer and that, I use this one with 14.5. But you see how much my armor drops, right? It's absolutely humongous difference. I think I've got like 309 on my Boomer build, and that starts with headshot damage. So people say to me also, why Unbreakable? Well, you got to think about it this way, right? So Unbreakable gives you about 70% of your max armor. Even if you've got 350k, that's pretty much every 60 seconds you've got 650k armor. Me personally, on this build, I've got around about a little over 700k armor every single time. You know, you cannot face tap them in PCs. Doesn't matter how much armor you have. You have to take cover. All right, but the more armor you have, the more survivability you're gonna have in terms of when Unbreakable procs. So I always say minimum at least 330, maybe even 350k for Razorback. Me personally. Okay. Now, as I say, I would prefer Gilligard chest piece here. And for the mod slots, he definitely. So you'll see right here how much my armor drops. Like if I do not have um, total armor mods right here. So like if you swapped these, so like say this one right here for protection from release. Although protection from release is okay. I'm losing so about another 9,000 armor on top. So yeah, it's definitely you know, it's a humongous difference. Although you can stack, if you're in a survivalist, you can stack protection from elites instead of a total armor, as long as you've got two-piece Fenris. Now, if you had two-piece Fenris, so if you say you had the holster and then you had the vest, that would be more than sufficient because you'd get another 10% protection from elites from that. Now I'm not in the position right now to be able to do that, although I would consider having a little less armor and having stat. You know, if you got up to say 40% protection from elites, you're going to be protected by drones, probably more than what I've got with 399k. But that's why I'm trying to stack as much armor as possible. So you definitely want to be going for total armor mods. That's for me personally. Either that or two-piece Fenris. That's what I would say. If you're going for survivalist. If not, I will always say in a million years, go for total armor mods. So on to the gloves. I'm going for Gilligar gloves once again. The reason I've gone for Gilligar gloves is once again it comes with a utility mod slot. 430 chem launcher skill power on one mod. Okay. So I've managed to get damage to elites on this with the hazard protection. I mean, it has a protection or health. I mean, I'm not fussed really that it's hazard protection here in a way. You know, it does protect me a little bit more when the bombs come out. You know, although I think maybe in an ideal world, probably would go for more health personally. Um, so on to the holster. So I've gone for a rowdy holster here with 10% damage to elites. Now the way to improve this build even more would be to get an rowdy holster that came with hard hitting. So that would allow me to put on a higher health roll. So definitely improvement there. On the mod slot, I've got virtually a max roll for my LMG, 1% weapon damage, 1% damage to armor, and 5% LMG damage. Onto the holster, and once again, I've gone for a Gilligard holster with patience. The reason why I never recommend a Fenris knee pad, even if you're going for the two-piece, is because you're going to be losing the two defensive mod slots. You'll see, I think I don't know if I've got one in my stash. Yeah, I do, yeah. So you'll see on this, obviously this one's got one defenses, so it's not a good example. But on this, I have no mod slots. So you see how much armor I'm losing here. So you're talking 50,000 armor, right? It's not worth it. Not for the sake of losing two defensive mod slots. And you could put two defensive mod slots with, say, protection from elites on, or total armor, as I say, depending on your specialist. So that's what I would go for here. Once again, the best way to work out what your total armor is going to be is it's not just the percentage of the total armor. Okay, you'll see, like if I have, say, this, I've got another one right here. So I'm going to show you a quick example. So I don't think I have it on this. So if you put this one instead, even though it's higher armor, you'll see that my armor goes lower. But why is that? Well, it's because it takes into account the armor row initially on top. I didn't realise this initially. That's why it can get a little confusing. So you gotta take into account the first armor roll and then the total armor. Okay, so sometimes, you know, you could get a 3.5% total armor roll, but it be lower because the first roll was say 4,500 armor. Okay, so that's definitely something you got to look out for when you're going to be farming total armor mods. So on to my mods skills. Obviously, I'm going to be using the Hive. We've got a couple of Hive skill power mods on this with a 10% cooldown reduction. I would like this to be higher, but I have never managed to find anything higher. So I've got 1839 skill power on this Hive, which brings it down to 215 seconds. As I say, could be lower, but it is what it is. This one right here is almost God roll, I would say. So I've got a 47.6% heal on this. Now, if I manage to get the Gilligar chest piece that I said that I wanted with a utility, I could have a max roll potentially heal on this. So I think I don't know if I've got see. So I've got one right here and then I've got one right here. So if I get another say 500 chem launcher skill power mod onto my chest piece, maybe just a little over 500, I could put an almost max roll heal onto this, right? And that's only with 4 utility mods, alright? But for now, I'm using this, and don't get me wrong, it's really good, and it's going to go up even more next patch. I think that almost doubling the rolls, so I think this was going to go up to say 99%. So this will probably go up to say, I don't know, let's put a figure out there, 87% heal, which is going to be crazy. So I'm going to even have even more survivability than what I've got now. But you know, I that's pretty much the build. So I would say, I know a lot of people say 250,000 armor. That, in my opinion, is not enough. You need more than that. You need a minimum, especially for Razorback. You need minimum 330k. I'm gonna say 330, 350, anything higher than that, and you're in good shape. Okay, and you definitely 100% required unbreakable. Don't care who you are, you need unbreakable. Okay, so anyway, that's my build, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you next time.